Anyone?
Qualification to learn Bhagavad Gita. Devotion.
Yes. So who is qualified to learn Bhagavad Gita? Not everyone can understand Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Correct? Everybody has a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Every house you find a copy of Bhagavad Gita. But simply by reading, one cannot understand. It's a confidential knowledge. So what is the qualification?
Devotee. Devotion.
Yes. So what do you mean by devotion?
Totally surrender, totally knowledge, totally utmost confidential knowledge.
Hanji?
Totally devotion, devoted to learn.
Devoted learn. Okay. Thank you. Anyone else? So how do we make us qualified to understand Bhagavad Gita? Quickly.
By loving service to God.
Sorry, loving service to the Lord. Practical loving service to the Lord. And how do we serve the Lord?
Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, Toyam, anything. With offering it with devotion, utmost devotion.
Okay. Anything you offer, Krishna accepts as long as it is offered with devotion. Okay, very nice. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, Priti Mataji.
Serving through mind and serving through intelligence.
Very good. So we can serve the Lord through our mind, through intelligence, and through our body. Okay. Through body, mind, and intelligence. So how do we serve through mind?
By chanting regularly.
Very good. By chanting the holy name regularly. Regularly means every day.
Every day.
Okay. And how do we serve the Lord with intelligence, Sunil Prabhu?
By reading small books in Bhagavad Gita.
By reading these spiritual scriptures, Gita and Bhagavatam. Okay. Simply reading means we are trying to serve the Lord through our intelligence. When you chant and focus your mind on the holy name vibrations, it is serving the Lord through our mind. And how do we serve through our body or different senses?
By doing pranayam and offering flowers and fruits.
Yes, by doing pranam, obeisances.
Pranayam.
Pranam. By making pranam, obeisances. Pranam karna Bhagwan.
And offering flowers and even food you can offer.
Yes, making offerings like cooking food for the Lord is a service to the Lord by your body, offering flowers, making obeisances. So when we do all of this every day, simultaneously, when we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will reveal the inner message of Bhagavad Gita. जैसे हमने पहले पढ़ा है, Bhagavad Gita is a very confidential knowledge. It cannot be understood simply by reading. Unless Krishna decides to reveal this knowledge, we cannot understand. And we have to please him by serving him. Then he will reveal this knowledge. Okay? As simple as that. ठीक है जी? Unless we establish relationship with Krishna, he will not reveal this knowledge. Like we took one example, you meet someone, new person. You will not tell him everything about yourself. At the most, you'll tell him about your name. That's it. When relationship develops, you will share more information about yourself. Correct? You can share about your family, about your likes and dislikes. When relationship is thicker, is more intense. Similarly, when our relationship with Krishna becomes more practical, more intense, then he shares all of the information about himself with all of us. He reveals the secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Is that clear? So, only reading is not sufficient. Reading plus practical service, both are important to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. ठीक है जी? Clear so far? Priti ji, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji, clear. reading plus practical service is important to understand Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, practical service is important to understand. Very good. Thank you. Any last point anyone would like to add before we proceed?
मतलब वो Krishna consciousness propagate करके bring the society together as a one body to go towards Krishna.
Any last comment? Anyone?
500 million Bhagavad Gita copies were distributed to read.
Sorry?
500 million Bhagavad Gita has been distributed.
So this Bhagavad Gita which you are reading,
It's a part of
as it is, Bhagavad Gita as it is,
As it is. Bhagavad Gita
almost
is
500 million copies have been distributed. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So let's proceed. So first, let's try to understand what is the context behind this war. ठीक है ना? If there was no war, there was no Bhagavad Gita. Correct? So Krishna had to create a context to propagate or communicate this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And why did Krishna choose a situation like war to communicate this knowledge? Because everybody's life is like a war, isn't it? Everybody's life has so many ups and downs, so many problems, so many issues to deal with. We'll read very shortly, what is Arjuna's situation in the beginning. He's sweating, his skin is burning, he's crying, his body is shaking because of the pain he's going through. And then Krishna imparts this knowledge and he comes back to his normal position. Okay. So we all have seen Mahabharata, correct? We all know what led to this Kurukshetra war. Anyone would like to share briefly the chain of events which led to this war? If you have seen Mahabharata. Yes. Yes, Ashwarya Mataji.
It all started from the game of dice. So and Draupadi was dishonored in that. So that was the trigger point. And after that, Pandavas were sent for 13 years of 12 years of forest and 1 year of exile. So after the exile, they came back to Kauravas and they asked them for to get their kingdom back, but somehow Duryodhana refused it, and Krishna was sent as an ambassador for that. So Lord Krishna has requested Duryodhana for at least 5 villages, but Duryodhana refused even for that, and he said that even I would not give away the land which is equal to that of a small pin. So because of all of that, this war was, the situation turned out to be in such a way that war had to be fought for gaining back the kingdom for Pandavas. And Krishna was on the side of Pandavas because they were always righteous and they supported good. So it was how.
Very nice. Wonderful. So, Kauravas and Pandavas both belong to same dynasty called Kuru dynasty. Okay. They're all descendants of Bharata, King Bharata. Okay. And Dhritarashtra and Pandu were 2 brothers. Dhritarashtra was blind, though he was the elder son, but he was not given the kingdom because of being blind. And then Pandu had his 5 sons with Kunti and Madhuri. 5 sons we know, 5 Pandavas. 3 from Kunti and 2 from Madari. Okay. Now these children were very small and Pandu died from an early age. And then Dhritarashtra was given this responsibility of taking care of 5 children of Kunti and Pandu. Okay. So Dhritarashtra was responsible to take care of them. Tauji ke hisab se, you are like Tauji of these 5, uncle of these 5 Pandavas. And because all of them were very small, Dhritarashtra was made the king. Okay. So and then he had his own 100 sons also, led by Duryodhana. And when these sons of Pandu grew up, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev, then he had to give the kingdom back to Pandavas. Okay, because he was blind, he was not, according to norms, he was not qualified to lead a kingdom as a king. So when he thought, I have to give it back to Pandavas, then he, along with his son Duryodhana, they started in different ways, to kill Pandavas, so that they're able to retain this kingdom with them. Okay. So you all know they tried many ways to kill Pandavas, but Krishna protected them all the time. And then we had this gambling match, which Mataji mentioned about. When Draupadi was tried, they tried to disrobe Draupadi in front of everyone. And all these things happened, and finally they went out for exile, 12 plus 1. Incognito 1 year and 12-year normal exile. 13 years exiled. Okay. And then they came back, and then again they refused to give the kingdom back to Yudhishthira. Then Yudhishthira, being a saintly person, he said, okay, don't give us the kingdom. Just give us 5 small villages. Because we are Kshatriyas, correct? We are Kshatriyas means we can only survive by ruling a kingdom. Maybe small villages. We cannot go and beg, and fill our belly. We need to do something. But Duryodhana refused to give even 5 villages to Yudhishthira Maharaj. As Mataji mentioned, that he said, "Ki main ek sui ki nok ke barabar bhi nahi dunga." Forget about 5 villages. Then Krishna also tried, he went as a peace messenger, and they tried to even arrest Krishna. So after all of these events, finally Krishna decided that we have to fight the battle to get this kingdom back and establish dharma. The purpose of this fight is not just to get the kingdom back, it is also to establish dharma back in the society. Okay, that was the larger reason. And then this battle happened. Now, just before the battle, Duryodhana and Arjuna both went to Dwarka to seek help from Krishna. Okay. So when first Duryodhana reached Dwarka in the room of Krishna, Krishna was sleeping, and he went and sat near Krishna's head and started waiting for him to wake up. And then Arjuna went, and Arjuna also saw Krishna is sleeping, so he went and sat near the lotus feet of Krishna. Now you have a scenario, Krishna is sleeping, Arjuna is sitting near his feet, and Duryodhana is sitting near the head of Krishna. So when Krishna woke up, he saw first the person who is sitting near his feet. So we have to be always near the feet of Krishna, not climb on his head. So, and Arjuna also was younger, to Duryodhana. So he first told Arjuna, tell me, what do you want? So his first choice was given to Arjuna. Duryodhana started fighting. Baba, I came first, so I should be given first choice. So Krishna somehow convinced Duryodhana, no, he's younger brother, so he should be given first opportunity. I saw him for the first time. So Arjuna was given a choice to choose between two choices. One was he could have chosen Krishna, or he could have chosen Krishna's Narayan army, all the soldiers of Krishna's army. And Krishna said, if you choose me, I will not also lift any weapon. So I will not fight the battle. I'll be unarmed always. So Arjuna had to choose between unarmed Krishna or his Narayani Sena, which was never defeated, very powerful army. Arjuna chose Krishna. Arjuna did not choose Krishna's opulence. Arjuna chose Krishna, not his opulence. And Duryodhana was very happy, though he was given second choice, because he only wanted Krishna's army, not Krishna. Okay, so he was very happy, though it was a second choice, second turn, but he was very happy because Arjuna opted for Krishna. And he was thinking how foolish Arjuna is that he has chosen Krishna, who is not even going to fight the battle. Duryodhana was very happy after getting Narayan Sena. So if you see, in general, people choose what? Krishna or his opulence? What do people choose normally? What are they working hard for in general? They're working hard to get Krishna's opulence, or they're working hard to get Krishna? Yes, Himanshu, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I mean, mostly people, they want the Krishna's opulence.
Everybody wants Krishna's opulence. Nobody wants Krishna. They want beauty like Krishna. They want wealth of Krishna. They want fame like Krishna. They want knowledge like Krishna. They want power like Krishna, but they don't want Krishna. So it is Duryodhana's mentality in general, not Arjuna's mentality. So the mentality which is dominating in the society is Duryodhana's mentality. That's why Duryodhana is called as Kali Avatar. He is an incarnation of Kali Yuga, wherein people will act like, in general, people will act like Duryodhana. They would want everything but Krishna. That's why, in general, it is a godless society. People don't want somebody called as God in the center, but they want everything which belongs to the God. Okay, so Arjuna was very intelligent by choosing Krishna. So when you choose Krishna, naturally everything comes to you. Because everything belongs to Krishna. If you see the last verse of Bhagavad Gita, the very last verse, there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita, and the very last verse suggests this principle. This is 18th chapter, last verse. Let me try reading it. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Yatra Shivijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. He's saying, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Sanjay is concluding this Bhagavad Gita by making this statement. Wherever there is Krishna and a devotee like Arjuna, definitely there will be opulence. Definitely there will be victory, extraordinary power, and morality. So Arjuna was more intelligent than Duryodhana by choosing Krishna over his opulence. So far we have been having a mentality of Duryodhana. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to transform this mentality from mentality of Duryodhana to mentality of Arjuna. Make sense? Everybody with me? Ravi Prabhu? Okay? Okay. So let's go next. Yes, Mahajanji.
श्री कृष्णा, अभी आपने जिसके बारे में कहा है कि वो 12 साल का प्लस 1 साल का एग्जाइल हो गया, 3 महीने पहले वी वेंट टू द टेम्पल वेयर दे हैव स्पेंट 1 year in exile. That temple is in Himachal Pradesh. It was destroyed in 1905 earthquake, but remains are still there, and we could still see part of the rooms which are totally carved out of stone. So the whole place, temple is built out of one big rock, and the rooms and the puja area, etc., are still intact, and we could see some of the rooms there, and we felt as if it is not a fiction; it is a real happening which has happened many years back. It was like a proof of what we have read in the books.
Yeah, so it is not a mythology.
Yeah, it's not a mythology.
It is not a mythology.
Yeah.
It
So
is
we
not
have
a
been,
myth. Everything exists.
although we were born and brought up in Himachal Pradesh, but we never had the chance to see it.
Abhi, in the very first verse, we'll hear this place, name of the place called Kurukshetra. And everybody knows Kurukshetra.
Yes,
I belong to Panipat. It is just next to Panipat.
Right.
Just 1.5 hours away from Panipat.
Right.
So for the first verse, mention this name, Kurukshetra. Dharam Kshetre Kurukshetre Samveta Yusva. Okay, so this is not a myth. These are all. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
I would suggest if anybody wants to see the temple, he can contact me and I can guide them how to reach there.
Sure. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go next. So first, let's see the overview of chapter number 1. Okay. Name of the chapter is Observing the Armies. Or in Hindi, you'll find name of this chapter is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Arjuna Vishad. Vishad means विषाद आप समझते हैं विषाद का अर्थ क्या होता है ठीक है so there are total 43 verses in chapter number 1, primarily 2 sections, section 1 and section 2. In section 1, 1.1 to 1.27. Okay, how to read this is 1.1 means first chapter and verse number 1. 1.27 means first chapter and verse number 27. Okay, so if you do search a specific verse in Bhagavad Gita, you'll find it on the top of the page. If you open any page, you'll find 11.5, 11.7, 6.47, which means 6 means chapter number and 47 means verse number. So like this, you can search in your Bhagavad Gita, by flipping your pages. So 1.1 to 1.27 talks about introduction. And what does introduction cover? The 3 sections. Preparation for the war. In the first 11 verses, you will see Duryodhana observing army of Kaurava and Pandavas. And then trying to assess who is more powerful. That is section A. Section B, from 12 to 20 number verses, you will see different signs, indications of victory of Pandavas. The war is still not started, but they're all indications that Pandavas are going to win this battle. Okay, so the context of war will stop here. While this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra with the context of war, but the content, as I mentioned in the previous class also, content of this book is not war, is life. Okay. So the entire war context is over in the first 20 verses, section B. Section C, 1.21 to 1.27, we'll see how Krishna is a Bhakta Vatsala, or how Krishna loves his devotees so much, like a cow loves his calf, her calf. Okay. Bhakta Vatsala, 1.21 to 1.27, and section 2 talks about different reasons Arjuna gave why he cannot fight this battle. Compassion, enjoyment, fear of simple reactions, destruction of family tradition. And one reason you'll find in the beginning of chapter 2, 2.6. Okay, so this is the overview of chapter 1. First, preparation for the war. Second, talks about different indications of Pandava's victory. Then Krishna is Bhakta Vatsala. And then finally, different reasons Arjuna gave why he cannot fight this battle. Okay. If you see the section 1, 1.1 to 1.27, two things will come out very clearly. What? That Lord protects those who surrender unto the Lord in all situations. Lord's protection. Devotees who surrender to the Lord's protection are assured victory, regardless of material odds. What does it mean, regardless of material odds? Pandava's army is much lower than Kaurava's army. 7 Akshayoni versus 11 Akshayoni. Almost 40% lower. All, big warriors like Bhishma, Guru Dronacharya are on Kaurava's side, but still they lost the battle. Pandavas did not have much army, but still they won the battle. Why? They were being protected by Lord Krishna himself. And second, Bhakta Vatsala, Lord as an intimate servant. So Krishna is being introduced in Bhagavad Gita as what? Not as God, as a charioteer of Arjuna. So this is the introduction of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Who is Krishna? Charioteer, Sarathi of Arjuna. This is his introduction as a servant of the servant, or servant of his devotee, Bhakta Vatsala. Okay? Is it okay? Can we move ahead? Yes. Good to go? Okay. Okay, now verse number 1, 1.1, which is chapter 1 and verse 1, in which Dhritarashtra is making an inquiry. From whom? From Sanjaya. Sanjaya was secretary of Dhritarashtra, who was given benediction by Vyasadeva to get those divine eyes to see everything what was happening in Kurukshetra on the battlefield. So while sitting in the palace in Hastinapur, Sanjaya was able to see and give live telecast of what was happening in Kurukshetra while sitting in Hastinapur. So you can see technology was much more advanced during that time. No satellite, no wires, no dish, isn't it? No television. Still he could see everything what was happening and share with Dhritarashtra everything what was happening on the battlefield. So it is the first and the only verse spoken by Dhritarashtra. After that he is only hearing. So while Dhritarashtra has many bad qualities, one good quality Dhritarashtra has is ability to listen, which is rarely found in today's world. People have a desire to speak so much, but not desire to listen. Dhritarashtra made this inquiry, and after that he only heard from Sanjaya in terms of what was happening. So only verse spoken by Dhritarashtra is the first verse in which he's making inquiry. What inquiry he's making? Let's try to understand. So you can recite after me. One of you I'll unmute so that you can recite. Now, everybody can recite, but only one person will be unmuted. Okay, Preeti Mataji, please unmute yourself. Dhritarashtra uvacha
Dhritarashtra uvacha
dharam kshetre kurukshetre
dharam kshetre kurukshetre
samaveta yuyusava
samaveta yuyutsavaha
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
kim akurvat sanjaya.
kim akurvat sanjayah.
Dhritarashtra uvacha
Dhritarashtra uvacha
dharam kshetre kurukshetre
dharmashetre kurukshetre
samaveta yuyusava
samaveta yuyutsavaha
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
kim akurvat sanjaya.
kim akurvat sanjaya.
Dhritarashtra uvacha
Dhritarashtra uvacha
dharam kshetre kurukshetre
dharam kshetre kurukshetre
samaveta yuyusava
samaveta yuyutsavaha
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
mamakaha pandavaschaiva
kim akurvat sanjaya.
kim akurvat sanjaya.
Please read the translation on the screen.
Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my eyes and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do?
Thank you. So Dhritarashtra is making an inquiry from Sanjaya. What is he saying? Dhritarashtra uvacha. Uvacha means Dhritarashtra said. Okay. What did he say? Dharam kshetre kurukshetre. In a place called as Kurukshetra, which is also a place of pilgrimage or holy place. Dharam kshetre samaveta yusva mamakaha, my sons Pandavas and Pandu's sons Chaiva kim akurva sanjaya. He is saying samaveta, they have gathered to fight. Right? Kim akurvat sanjaya. What did they do? It's very contradictory statements. One side, Dhritarashtra is saying, my sons and Pandava's sons have gathered to fight. Samaveta, yusava. Yusava means to fight. And then he's asking, Kim akurvat sanjaya? Kya kiya? Unhone, dono ne. So few messages in this. One is, what is the meaning of Dhritarashtra? Dhrit, Rashtra. Rashtra means kingdom. One is holding on to the kingdom. It's called Dhritarashtra. So he has intense attachment with the kingdom. And when one is too attached to something, he loses power of discrimination in terms of what is good and what is bad. So Dhritarashtra was physically blind. He was also blind spiritually. Before this war, Vyasadeva actually told Dhritarashtra that in this war, all your 100 sons will be wiped out. So Dhritarashtra is aware that my sons are going to get killed. But he's so attached to the kingdom and his son Duryodhana, he lost power of discrimination. What is good, what is bad. And second, he is saying Mamakaha Pandavas. Actually, both Pandavas and Kauravas belong to same dynasty as Kuru dynasty. But here Dhritarashtra is showing partiality to his own sons, separating his sons from Pandavas or Pandu's sons. While after Pandu's death, Dhritarashtra was given the responsibility to take care of sons of Pandu also. But the statement reflects his state of mind or the state of partiality his mind is exhibiting. That these are my sons, Duryodhan and other brothers, and Pandavas are Pandu's sons, somebody else's sons. So it reflects a sense of partiality. Second, Kim Akurva Sanjaya, what did they do? Why is asking this question? When they have gathered together on the battlefield to fight the battle, why he is desirous that his sons should retain the kingdom or they should win this battle, at the same time he is doubtful. What is his doubt? His doubt is due to the influence of a holy place like Kurukshetra. A Kurukshetra, which is a Dharam Kshetra, a place of Dharma or a holy place, his son Duryodhan should not change his mind. Normally, when you go to holy places like Vrindavan, Mathura, Jagannath Puri, you tend to become positive and forget all your bad habits. Isn't it? If you're a drunkard, you don't feel like drinking in Vrindavan. You don't feel like smoking in Vrindavan. Due to the positive influence of the place. There's so much of vibrancy, so much of positive vibes all around. You don't feel like doing bad things. Why? Due to the influence of place. Similarly, Dhritarashtra is worried that my sons, due to the holy influence of the holy place, should not go and surrender unto Yudhishthira, saying, Bade bhaiya, ye sab aap hi ka hai. Ise aap hi rakhiye. He should not change his mind. Or in a nutshell, he should not become dharmic. He should not become spiritual. So, having a worry that my son should not become dharmic is a Dhritarashtra mentality. Even today, many parents don't want their children to embrace spirituality at a young age. They have some worry, some insecurity. If son starts chanting, they start getting worried. If children start going to temple, they start getting worried. Why? Do you agree? Many parents do not allow their children to embrace spirituality at a young age. That is a mentality of the Dhritarashtra, not a good parent. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj says, one should be exposed to spiritual atmosphere at an age of 5 years. From the 5 years age, from the age of 5 years, a child should be exposed to principles of dharma, principles of spirituality. But the normal conception in India is that all these things like Gita, Bhagavatam, chanting, all these are supposed to be done only after retirement. When one has become useless, his limbs are not working, eyes are not working, ears not working, he can't get up, he can't walk. That is the best time to read Bhagavad Gita or chant the Holy. No, that is a big misunderstanding or misconception. The reality is every child should be given this opportunity to get exposed to spiritual subject matter at a very young age. Right? But not many parents encourage the children to embrace spirituality at a young age. उसको लगता है बच्चा पढ़ेगा नहीं, बाबा बन जाएगा. That is the wrong mentality. That is the mentality of Dhritarashtra. Like he is worried, मेरा बेटा धार्मिक बन गया तो he'll go and hand over the kingdom to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Okay. At the same time, he's also hopeful. What? Maybe because of the influence of this place, even Pandavas may also withdraw from this battlefield. No, हमको नहीं चाहिए राज्य, हमको नहीं चाहिए. We'll be happy with the kingdom. Okay. So he is desirous, Dhritarashtra desirous that his son should win the battle. Same time, he is doubtful, right, and worried that son should not become dharmic and hand over the kingdom to Pandavas. But hopeful also that same thing may happen with Pandavas also. They may renounce, they may say, okay, Duryodhana, you keep the kingdom, we don't want it. Okay. Dharam Kshetra, Kurukshetra. So Kurukshetra is not an ordinary place. There are many historic events associated with this place called Kurukshetra. With Parashuram, demigods come and worship in Kurukshetra. So there are many. I don't have time to talk about all of them. In essence, Kurukshetra is not an ordinary place, it's a place of dharma, wherein many spiritual events have happened. And hence this place is very powerful, which is worrying Dhritarashtra. That because of the influence of this place, my child Duryodhana should not change his mind. Okay, it's 1:30. So we'll stop here. And the subsequent verses we'll do in the next section. So any query on what we've done, then we'll try to chant one round. We'll learn how to chant and then we'll close. Okay? Any कोई जिज्ञासा है आपकी, कोई comment है? Yes, Rita Mataji.
अच्छा, धृतराष्ट्र को ये क्यों वरी थी कि पांडवा अगर सब कुछ छोड़ दें तो उससे उसको क्या फर्क पड़ता है?
He was not worried. From that perspective, he was hopeful, not worried.
नो लाइक अगर पांडवास सब कुछ छोड़ देते तो भी वो सब कौरवास को मिल जाता.
That's why I'm saying Pandavas getting influenced from this place. He was hopeful that it can also happen and Pandavas may renounce everything. But he was also doubtful or worried that if it happens with my son, Duryodhana, then he may renounce everything and give up the kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else?
आपने ये कहा है कि once you Lord protects those who surrender to God. इसका एक बड़ा एग्जाम्पल यही है कि जब आदमी को तकलीफ होती है, इसे दुख में होता है और उसको कोई रास्ता नहीं दिखता, then only surrender to God. तब बंदर जाता है, भगवान की पूजा करता है. जब सुख में होता है तो नहीं करता है. So it's a proof of this कि भाई उस समय वो God की प्रोटेक्शन ढूंढता है when he has lost all other hopes of everything else. Whereas that should be a normal life of everybody praying every day for protection of God.
Yeah, that's why it is something which needs to be taught right from the early age. Not when miseries hit us and we have no other means but to take shelter of the Lord.
True.
You know? So we should be taught right from the beginning that who am I, who is God, what is our relationship, how do we live this relationship, you know?
इसके लिए मैंने आपसे एक बहुत पहले रिक्वेस्ट करी थी जब हम आपको जो बिफोर ज्वाइनिंग दी सेशंस जो आपके रिचुअल सेशन हुए थे तब मैंने आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करी थी कि अगर इसको हमें प्रोपेगेट करना है और इसे बढ़ाना है और बच्चों को 5 साल की उम्र से ये ज्ञान मिलना चाहिए, पेरेंट्स को मिलना चाहिए, तो मैंने आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करी थी कि एक मोदी जी के लेवल पे अगर कोई अप्रोच हो सके प्रेजेंटेशन की, और क्योंकि ही इज़ द वन हु इज़ ए रियल ड्राइवर ऑफ हिंदुत्व एंड पॉजिटिविटी इन द कंट्री, अगर उसके लेवल पे